happy to see. I think I'm dying here, man.
Through the haunted mansions and floors, the creek, they lead us to the places from which we dare not peek. A journey through fear and the realm of the night. In every word they speak, our hearts ignite with fright. Welcome to the horror show, the Deep Cut Podcast, where nightmares come alive, ready to take their blow. Tune in to the chilling delight on the airwaves of the night. Let the darkness grow. Let the darkness grow.
Oh yeah, it's that time again for another bi-weekly podcast with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and...
Bubba didn't do it.
Oh, Evil Dead Inks, with me in the cabin.
Cozy, man. 'Tis the season for spooky time.
Indeed, we are in the... It should be the October month by the time this video / podcast / shorts...
I count like after like the third day of September, I was like, it's good enough.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Start putting your Halloween decor out. If people can start putting their Christmas shenanigans out in October, I can start putting my October shit out in September.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And I think... Did we talk about this? Oh my God, it's probably been half a year now. But we talked about how this movie has one of the best, like, made-for-TV October atmospheres. So...
Yeah?
And you and I both have recently revisited this.
I'm relatively new to it. I'm only probably not quite a year.
Really?
Of being new to it. Yeah, like I had heard of it, never watched it, and then I over a break from my 9-to-5 job, I scoped out the last drive-in version of it, and that's when I watched it officially for the first time.
I can't believe
and messaged you about it.
I can't believe you didn't grow up with this movie. That's
had no idea about it. This is new shit to me.
This is
how'd it come across your radar? Because I guess this was a made-for-TV movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It has a good DVD and now a Blu-ray release.
And a sequel, but we don't talk about that.
A sequel, yeah, you can buy a 2-pack, but I was like, I'm good.
I don't think we need...
I don't even want to know what it's about.
All I know is it's cheap. And that's...
Well, I feel this is too, but this is different cheap.
Because, yeah, this has suspense and heart and a good story.
And the introduction of Larry Drake.
He kills it in this movie, dude. No pun intended. But this came across my radar. I want to say I'm in single-digit age. And I've talked about this family member before. My Aunt Mary, she's the one who introduced me to, like, Legend of Boggy Creek and things like that. So she dabbled in horror, and she's the one who got me the, like, Dr. Sanguinary shirt and, you know, introduced me to Creature Feature and stuff like that. She's not much for, like, splatter movies, but any of those old school monster movies and obviously made for TV movies and any cryptids.
Where they have to rely on a little bit more of story than effects.
Yeah,
driven.
yeah. Some atmosphere. And
this
movie is oozing with atmosphere, and it just happened to be something that was in her wheelhouse, and it was one of those things where she's like, take this tape and watch this tape, give it a shot, see what you think, you know, and it was clearly like recorded off of like a TBS. It had commercials and all of that stuff because it was made for that format.
Isn't it weird how, like, back then you would pride yourself on, like, pausing the record so you could skip all the commercials?
Yeah.
And now, like,
whole YouTube channels are devoted.
You'd be like, don't even touch that. Leave all the commercials intact. I'm skipping the main programs to get to the commercials. I want my sense of nostalgia. Pump it right into my veins.
Yep. Got to tap the vein and watch some vintage, like, Halloween Pizza Hut ads.
Oh, yeah, that's my go-to for Halloween night on a YouTube reel out on the porch is just classic Halloween
the
like
old
commercial
school
ads.
Yeah. And so that's how how this came to me, was a family member being like, just check this out, you know, because me being young, it was a good introductory movie, and like I said, it's got a lot of atmosphere, so you're not seeing violence really.
No, I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
They have to rely on it.
And
It was like 1981. You can't show anything on TV.
it's genuinely scary, and I think that's aided with the theme music that they keep piping back in. That's kind of got that shrill, you know, it feels very October.
It does, without really being like. There's not like the typical October atmosphere to it. Like
Yeah.
we're not seeing a ton of like dead leaves on the ground. Something just about, I don't know, out in the harvest time frame.
Yep. And
like
blue
several
lights.
big ass fields. Yeah, blue lighting, scarecrows in general. Mm-hmm. Just it.
Also Midwest
there.
Or
Yes.
I mean, it's not. This movie doesn't take place in the Midwest, but it feels Midwest. I think this
Yeah.
is more like.
Southern California.
Yeah. Even though they're all super duper shit kickers, you know. But
I mean, our one main, not the postman, but our one main guy that's always like, is he ever like, I mean, he plays that all right dad and son-in-law, but he's kind of a hard-edged one that softens eventually. But like, he's always kind of this character.
a shit kicker. Yeah, you got a flannel with the top two buttons unbuttoned, and you
Except
know.
Mighty Ducks. I guess he's a slick customer in Mighty Ducks, but he's still a piece of shit. In
Oh
that.
yeah, I think it's the wide eyes. You know, he can really like channel. I don't know, anger very well because his eyes are so bug. You got the bug-eyed thing, Janine.
To me, he has that look of like he's already had enough of your bullshit.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like, straighten up.
My favorite thing that involves him is, you know, you can tell, like, obviously, like I said, this is a made-for-TV movie, and we get that one shot after they are cleared of any wrongdoing, and they're in the
By
diner.
Glenn's dad, the lawyer.
They're at the bar partying it up, and you can tell they've got one shot at this dolly shot to pull back from this window while they're having this conversation, and he's got to say this. He says the line like 3 times in camera. He goes, ha ha ha, fried chicken. And the camera pulls back a little bit more and he goes, ha ha ha, fried chicken. And they pull back even more. And then he says it again, but they take the audio out. Because you can tell it's like, just laugh and say fried chicken. And we're going to try and get that dolly shot. And so we just kept like resetting.
I don't think they're out celebrating. I think it's literally just fried chicken day, and they're just that's all you have to do in this town is celebrate fried chicken day at the restaurant.
I totally thought they were celebrating the fact that they were exonerated of all wrong.
Well, I mean, they're double whammying it. They're that, but it's like, oh, coinky dink, it's fried chicken day.
Yeah,
this is definitely a movie that makes me hungry. Because even when the mailman's like just slopping on all his food on the plate, I was like, oh my gosh.
He's fat, get it? You know that he's fat?
He's fat and he really likes his job. He never is out of uniform.
Oh, he's a cartoon character. He's literally the mailman, always.
Yeah, with his mail hat on.
During the lynching, he's the mailman. Like, he never even...
Oh yeah, this is your first iteration of Halloween Kills. They just don't like this mentally handicapped gentleman playing with children, and they're like, as soon as we get a whiff of anything going south, like, evil dies tonight.
Oh, yeah. It's very Frankenstein, too. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you got that whole, like, well, clearly he meant to hurt this kid, so we got to chase him down and burn him with, you know, whatever, torches and pitchforks and whatever.
Yeah, they assemble their mob real quick. Like, they were just aching for a reason to go after somebody.
They're like, I hate that fucking waterhead. Just any minute, you know, any reason.
Just cross the street wrong, Bubba.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a population of like 33.
It's
so they're
definitely double digits.
Yeah, they're like, we hate that motherfucker. I can't wait. It's just, yeah, it's frontier justice. Who's gonna stop them? You know.
I don't know. They're just ready for it. But it's Larry Drake doing what he does, being just a talented B-movie actor. Like,
he's so good.
He can be a good guy. He can be a sympathetic guy. He can be a rat bastard.
Mm-hmm.
He can do anything. He's the villain from Darkman. He is Dr. Giggles.
Yeah.
And he's what I always think of, and I actually rewatched it recently. He's the butler from that Tales from the Crypt episode,
and Santa Claus.
which the wife agrees that's what she thinks of first. I think of him as the butler in the Secret episode, but this is his most like sympathetic role that I know of, at least.
Of course, that I know of in his filmography. I want to say, we talk about this movie occasionally, but The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and you and I both, we love Ernie Hudson for reasons, all the reasons, but Ernie Hudson in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, to me, is like he watched Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, and he's channeling his inner Larry Drake, like, because he's playing a special needs person, but he's so sweet.
Yeah, there's no
malice involved.
Not a hair of it, except when innocence is in danger, because he does straight up like cool man his way through that.
That fence does not stand a chance against him.
Bubba here to save you.
Well, I mean, that's like a 6'3", 280-pound
me.
dude. Yeah, that dude's just barreling through that fence. I don't care how many nails you got in it. Like, he's coming through. And
could have cemented that wall. He would have went through it.
Oh yeah. Like, it would have the outline like in Freddy's Dead when he.
You just needed like in True Lies, like two dogs just charging at him. He just clangs their heads together,
smokes them. Yeah.
Bubba, stay. Bubba, say stay.
And of course, I'm gonna call him a lynch mob, but whatever you want to call them, like the angry flash mob of death.
Flash mob,
whatever. They just assemble.
Dance you to death.
Yeah. Avengers assemble, and they go after poor Larry Drake and his mom, which is just like Ernest Borgnine with a wig. She's actually Marlon Brando's sister.
I can see that.
Sister. But she tells Bubba, remember the hiding game? You better go hide. And rather than just let him hide in the house and her stand at the screen door and be like, you're not touching my kid, she sends this kid out into the fucking wilderness.
She should be like Dazed and Confused, is whipping out a double barrel on Ben Affleck.
Yeah, like, good luck getting past me.
Get the fuck off my porch, son.
Who the fuck are you and what the fuck you want?
Blow man clean out of his boots.
But yeah, she makes a very poor decision, sends him out to go hide where these rednecks, of course, have where the red fern grows. They got their bloodhounds.
I mean, if they didn't have the dogs, I feel like his hiding
it's pretty good hiding spot.
Ain't bad, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, why stop and dress up like the Scarecrow and hang out? And
that's a lot of work.
It is,
yeah. Just all the wardrobe and shit on the gloves and everything.
Just keep going,
Bubba felt like running.
And one day, I stopped. So, of course,
Bubba gonna go home now.
It happens. A lot of Forrest Gump references.
Oh, man, what if we could swap those two roles? What if we put Tom Hanks in Dark Knight of the Scarecrow and Larry Drake
and you know what? It probably
as Forrest Gump.
You know what? It probably would work. I don't know that Larry Drake has the range of a Tom Hanks, but
I think he could.
Yeah, I think it could still be just as endearing.
Bubba gotta find Bubba.
And so they converge on the Scarecrow. I like the back and forth too of like the postman like he gets closer and closer, and then the eyes are all blacked out, and then all of a sudden we got the wide-eyed Bubba look.
And Bubba's just
and then of course
weird. There's no dialogue. He just is staring back at him like,
yeah, the bug eyes,
and then it starts backing up slowly.
And then, they got to put, what do they say? The trial, they say, Christ, he had 20-some bullet holes in him or something. Like, it's an egregious amount of...
Yeah, I think I tried doing the math with what they had. Like, every guy there, even if they had a 6-shooter, would have had to reload at least once.
Yeah. Like, I don't think it's done yet. He's twitching. Oh, man, he's coming right for us. South Park reference, deep cut.
And... I didn't have this, but the wife had this Mandela effect when we rewatched this recently, because she was convinced rewatching it that the kid died. And I was like, no, I like she lives. Like it's on the radio. Like a day late and
kinda,
a dollar short. That
yeah.
she's fine. And they're like,
Yeah,
which
because
is-
she's like the central plot device afterwards because
yeah.
no one has the heart to tell her that he's dead. So she keeps being like, I saw him. He's out there. He's dressed up like the scarecrow or whatever. Like he's out in the cornfield. So
Yeah, which leads to a strange ending because it's like you could totally conceive this movie as being the first iteration of Final Destination.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a thing.
like they just get their comeuppance because
yeah,
you know.
because
Yeah,
it's
just because.
vigilante justice on vigilantes, or is his like vengeance spirit still
it's very pumpkin
there?
heady.
Because his hand does come alive in the final shot, or like that last like oh shit moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so where are we?
Where are we here? Who am I here?
What am I?
Stepfather reference, deep cut. But that's the best thing about this movie, right? Especially for when I saw it as a kid, which blows my mind. I wish to God I could go back in time and have you see this as a kid.
I was
But
busy
it used-
watching Deadly Invasion on
Right.
TV instead.
But to be fair, we still kind of have like a childlike wonderment when we watch these movies. So I'd imagine it was pretty similar watching it at 40 than it would have been at 12 or 14 or whatever. But like the whole paranoia about the scarecrow, like, well, they put it out in the field. Like, I thought it was him. Wasn't him. Wasn't you. Was it you? No, it wasn't him. Like,
It was right there.
yeah, and the whole, like, one of them getting bumped off systematically at a time, but never
The dude in
giving
the-
us the scarecrow,
The dude in the mechanic suit, like he's such like the plus one.
Oh, dude, he feels like he belongs in I Spit on Your Grave. This whole movie feels like you could intercut it, with I Spit on Your Grave a little bit.
You could, but like of all the guys, like they all have a distinguishing like characteristic. I'm like, ooh, it's the lawyer from My Cousin Vinny and Son-in-Law. It's the postman. It's the hefty guy.
The hefty who almost has a heart attack when he's jogging and has to.
Yeah, the hefty guy, because the postman's a hefty fella too.
Oh, yeah.
And then the guy in the overalls, which I was like, he's the Klingon guy.
Yeah.
like he's whatever direction the wind's blowing, he's gonna go that way.
He's like dollar store 70s Burt Reynolds or something. Like he's got kind of a.
He's that dude from the Key and Peele skit where they're like, have an opinion of your own, say something of your own, anything, and he's like, don't look at them. Give me an opinion on something of your own right now. Do it. Anything.
I don't
anything.
have any opinions.
That's who that guy is.
He's just along for the ride because he has nothing better to do. No friends.
No, this is it. Like,
Nope.
I'm going to hang out with these guys because, I mean, it's the 3/4 of the population is right here in front of me.
Well, and they're all, which in the trial too, which kills me, is like, these ain't bad men. They're pillars of the community, which again we've said is double digits. We're not crossing 99 for this community.
Yeah,
so,
most of the town has showed up for this trial.
Yeah, so you've got a mailman, singular mailman, mechanic. So like the dude who puts gas in your car before they had self-service and checks your oil. Yeah, the farmer and
The other farmer.
the fat farmer, like whatever
the
the
one
fuck
that's
he
getting
is.
high on his own supply.
Yeah, they could easily be replaced. Another postman can come, another mechanic.
Yeah, it's
Like, so pillars of the community is a stretch.
clearly, yeah, the postman is your ringleader, and you have 3 kind of like subordinates that are following
Mm-hmm.
him. Like, you're probably the next in command would be the fatter farmer. Then the
One
My
with the
Cousin
dogs.
Vinny guy.
Yeah.
And then the mechanic, which is funny that the mechanic is not the first one to go. I figured he would clearly be the easiest one to
The
knock
mark,
off.
yeah.
But maybe because of all the actors with experience, I'm guessing the My Cousin Vinny lawyer is probably the most experienced and probably the one that costs the most. So
Probably.
he gets offed first.
Yeah. While we're sitting here talking, I literally just had an epiphany. So I'm going to share it with you and you out there on the internet.
Crack open that egg of knowledge. What you got?
So it just hit me that this movie is very similar to another movie. I don't know if it's in your wheelhouse, but I know you know it. So it just made me think of the first half of Thinner.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, almost verbatim, you know, other than the gypsy stuff, which, whatever you want to call that, transient stuff. Pikey. Can you say pikey?
I don't think any of the... If you have to ask, I don't think you're allowed to do it anymore.
I've said all of them, though, so, but whatever they are.
Just cut all that out. We'll beep them.
Yeah.
Can you say, yeah?
But yeah, it's very similar to the opening of Thinner.
Yeah,
like the
thank
judge is
God.
going to get him off.
Thank God there's no blowjobs in this one.
No, this is very kid-friendly horror. But going back to the pillar of the community, these people, had there been like the police chief or, you know, something like that was involved in this.
I mean, we got the other lawyer.
Yeah.
That's
that's a piece of shit.
Like, you guys are gonna get yours.
Mm-hmm. He's like, that's the poor man's Alan Alda.
Which I love. Yeah, after they've platooned Larry Drake on the cross.
Yeah.
He's literally, you know.
He's Jesus. Yeah.
The radio comes over and they're like, seems that Bubba didn't kill that girl after all. She's gonna be fine. He actually saved her. A hero.
Imagine
Who'd
that.
have thunk it?
Yeah. Womp womp. You can almost cue the fucking womp womp womp.
Yeah, you like. I felt Wedding Singer like all that information could have been available to me yesterday.
Yes, exactly.
So this is where forensics were in 1981. You're like, what are we gonna do? Like, he props a pitchfork into Bubba's dead hand, which, not that I've tried to stick something in a dead person's hand, but I don't think it works as easily as he makes it work.
That's a thing, right? So when someone dies, which is, and I could be misquoting this, but I watch a lot of Forensic Files, and you do too, via osmosis.
Yeah.
When someone is shot or just abruptly ended, like when just like murdered, two things happen. Feet cross, which is weird. They call it the dead man's cross, right? Feet are going to cross when the body falls, but also there's a dead man's grip. So the hand seize. So
Is it weird I'm taking some of that logic from like Loaded Weapon 1? Give me a hand here, Doc.
Yeah. You stomp on the hand to put the evidence. But yeah, so your hand seize. So it's tricky to rock a rhyme. Run DMC reference. No, but it's tricky to put something in a dead person's hand to make it seem like, you know, oh, it was a suicide or whatever. Because after you've shot them in the head and you want to plant the gun, their hands are locked up.
Again, he's still
cerebral palsied up.
He's still like this, pretty much. So
yeah.
So they're just propping it in this hand. So it's like if I'm just holding this microphone like this.
Yeah.
Imagine this is a pitchfork, and you're probably about where you are with three other guys with guns, and you're like, he's not backing down, boss.
Heavy artillery, yeah.
Open fire.
Go for the knees so we can say we tried to slow him down first.
Yeah, we'll just sprinkle some crack on him. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, he wasn't handicapped. He was just cracked out.
We all know Bubba was into the hard stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, what else are you going to do in a town of 91 people or whatever?
Meth.
Yeah, all the meth. He's just messing around. But
well, that's awful methed up.
Yeah, just messing with you. They ice him, and then the trial happens. Feels like because the little girl, it's not like she was in a coma. You know, she got attacked by a dog and got, like, spooked. She's home. She's not, like, in the hospital. She's home with her family.
Yeah.
But it seems like the trial happens the same day.
I mean,
basically, like, I mean, yeah, this is old school, old West justice. Like, well, we better bring boys in there and have a talk.
We gonna govern ourselves. We don't need no big city lawyers coming in here with their lingo and their hootenannies and whatnot.
Yeah.
We can take care of our own ourselves here and now without wasting all this money bringing in you folks.
If they're convicted, hangings at sunrise. But I mean, it's super fast because it's so fast that they get tried and exonerated before the little girl wakes up and goes, Bubba? What? Where's Bubba?
The only thing missing is like that someone offering to marry somebody to save to save them in the trial.
That's right.
So it's like, I have a wedding or a hanging.
Yeah, spousal privilege, you know.
It's the only thing missing from this small town trial.
But speaking of weddings, when I was a kid, obviously it never really bothered me, and it still doesn't like bother me, but it is weird. It's a weird thing that movies in the 80s did, and we don't do that anymore, really. We don't tiptoe into this area very often, but like I get that Larry Drake is special, so he kind of has the brain of a child, but he's playing with a little girl, which immediately to me is like some red flag stuff, because he's special, so he doesn't know. I mean, he knows the difference between right and wrong. He's pure as the driven snow. He does nothing to indicate he's a bad person. But that's a weird line to walk on film and be like, you know, because she leaves her house at midnight and breaks into Bubba's house to go look for him, which is all weird behavior for like a little girl. Plus then before the dog attack, she wants to kiss him, and he's like, no.
Because he has the necklace that she made for
The
him.
lei, yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's like, no.
yeah. So, I mean, it's not meant to be like ugh, gross, but
It doesn't come off that way.
no, not for the most part, but
Not
it's
even
it's
all
looked
to me.
looked at a little. I feel like
Oh yeah, you couldn't. Make
today's
this.
audience is going to look at it a little different. Like
You could not make this today. That'd probably be its own separate like plot line, like subplot.
Oh,
if
yeah.
It was made today.
well, because a perfect sidebar to that is recently my son and I have watched both It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, because he was like, I'm kind of interested in those because we've watched some effects breakdowns and stuff. So we watch It Chapter 2. A prime example of that is like James McAvoy when he's like latches onto that little kid who lives in his old house, and he's like, I gotta go to the fair and save him, like, and he just keeps like running to that kid like by the drain, you know.
Yeah.
Don't go to that drain or whatever, like touching him and being all weird. And it's like, you're gonna get punched by an adult. Like a dad is gonna come out, or a cop is gonna be like, don't touch that kid, you fucking weirdo. Like it's and that's how 2018's climate was compared to 1981, I guess. Like feels
it's a weird that a made-for-TV movie could not be made the same way at all today.
Yeah.
Even if you did it shot for shot, like if you totally psycho Vince Vaughn this thing, it would not come off the same at all.
And that's why I'm worried about the sequel, because
I'm never gonna know because I'll never look into it.
Well, I will, because that's
I know you will, because
part
the
of my
curiosity will
sickness.
just eat you alive that you cannot not know what happens with part 2. Is it a different story?
Oh,
Is
it's
it the
gonna be.
continuation of Bubba?
It's going to be a different story. It's going to be shot on a cell phone. I'm going to get duped. I'm going to give them $30 for a Blu-ray.
There'll be metal music playing entire tracks on it.
Yeah, it'll be I Spit on Your Grave, Deja
Welcome
Vu.
to the dark night of the Scarecrow. Scarecrow!
It's going to be devoid of any atmosphere, but
They'll put some like
oh yeah. Yeah.
wind blowing, so
It won't
it's cold.
be. It won't be blue though, and that's every single time it becomes nighttime in this movie, and they pipe in that theme music, and they hit you with that blue light. Because all the daytime sequences, to me, they feel summer. Like they feel hot. They feel sticky.
They don't feel hot or sticky, but definitely they feel. I don't know how to describe it. They feel of the time.
Yeah,
Like I feel like that's like Saturday morning.
I feel like early fall. Like right, like when the sun is
Yeah.
up. It still can be like 80 degrees. It can still be muggy. You can still be out in the field sweating.
It's like noon.
Yep, but then as soon as the sun sets, you're dipping down to like the 40s and the 50s, and you got that blue light and the wind.
Brisk.
And oh, yeah, like crisp air.
Yep, like a. It's cold.
Yeah, like I should put my coat on before I traipse out to the barn to investigate that noise
You
or whatever.
instinctively get a as
Yeah.
soon as you step out.
Yep. And then you got that little girl running around in her nightgown, jogging a mile in her nightgown at midnight. You know,
Through
like,
the cornfield.
yeah.
It's just what you do.
Yeah,
It's what
yeah.
you were able to do in 1981. No one gave a shit. And they're like, just sneak on out the house and go for a run. No one cares. We didn't have all the know-how we do now of what can happen
pneumonia.
what could go wrong. So we didn't worry about that stuff then.
Yeah.
There were no serial killers or seatbelt problems or
there were, but our family did a fairly good job. I don't know if it was our family doing a good job of shielding us or if it was just our willful child ignorance
and naivete.
Yeah, because when you're a kid, those thoughts never cross your mind. So
no. That's why I've been saying literally this week is what's it like being a parent is it's taking the Final Destination franchise and applying it to every scenario in your everyday life at any given moment.
Constantly.
But never for yourself, but for the little people that you've made.
Yeah. For everyone in your life. You're just I wonder what's... Yeah.
Yeah.
You're always nervous about something. Yeah. I don't know where I was going. Doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a real... it's a straight up layup shot. It's a slam dunk. Is there anyone else deserving of the brown panty achievement this week? Because it's time to give one.
Oh baby, it's time to slip into something a little more comfortable. It's time for the brown panty award.
I gave my brown panty award to Larry Drake, but more specifically, I gave my brown panty award to Larry Drake's mom. She lives
For a while.
but I mean, that's pretty rough.
She handles it pretty well.
Yeah, she does, but I mean,
That's
it's tough.
it's weird to throw my personal life into that, but I feel that's very much like my mom energy. She would be able to explain to a young kid severe tragedy that she's going through in a way that's acceptable for the kid to go through.
Yeah,
And super hiding what she's going through while she's doing that. That is very much a trait that is in my family.
Yeah.
And she does it very well there. But yeah, you give it to her. I'll give it to Bubba. That's it. Because
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, it's all people that are
truly deserve it. They're
yeah.
despicable.
You're just waiting for it.
Yeah.
It's the Punisher of Halloween.
That's a perfect analogy. Yeah. But if he didn't die, we wouldn't have the movie. So I mean, it's a
weird
necessary
twist.
it's a necessary evil, but it's weird, right? Because he's so innocent. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It's kind of like the My Girl thing when you got
Macaulay Culkin.
yeah, Macaulay Culkin. He never says one mean thing. He's the nice kid. And then of course we're gonna kill him, and we're
But he
gonna
kicks those bees, man.
yeah. Don't mess with the bees. Oh God, the bees.
You mess with the bees, you get the stings.
Little fucking Wicker Man remake reference, deep cut. One day,
We'll cover that double feature franchise.
oh, dear God, help us. But yeah, now that we're done with the Brown Panty Award, I suppose we can move on to the next little mini segment.
Where we flip the script.
Yeah, so now it's time for that perfect execution.
You're gonna die, clown!
Perfect.
All right, so my perfect execution is going to go to Mr. Fried Chicken himself. It's got to go to Arliss, the first of the gang to get offed. He gets essentially, he's going to get ground chucked, right? He goes into the whatever the hell you call that thing.
I don't know, but he's also
auger? Is it
I also gave that character mine because it's when we were watching it, man, how do you think he went in? Feet first or head first?
Oh, it's definitely feet first because he's hanging. And so, he's got to just deal with the pain all the way up until, until his heart just
oh, God,
gives
it's
out.
chopping me. It's chopping me.
Sidebar, we just lost him.
We did.
Not Arliss.
He's been gone, I think.
That was a Friday the 13th Part 4 reference, deep cut.
But
We
you
lost
know that.
Eric Anderson.
Yes.
And that's a bummer.
That is because we met him.
And he was a super cool customer, dude.
He was not willing to eat bugs with us, but he was able to take a photo with us eating bugs.
Yeah. And he was like, you guys are crazy. I love it. Can I film it? Like, so sad day.
Rocked a good handlebar mustache.
Yeah, because he was doing a Western, I believe, at the time. So he had to have that. Because I think that's what he
I
said.
thought it was just like, I'm just wearing this.
Yeah.
This is me now.
Just dealing with the handlebar mustache. But yeah, back to Arliss. Trash person. All of them are trash, but
He's just got the most spectacular one. Like, the rest of them are okay. Like,
yeah.
You're kind of like with the grain silo.
Yeah. Well,
kill.
that will, you will sink in.
Oh, I believe it.
It'll kill
I
you.
believe it, but it's like, I don't know.
It's silly. Yeah.
It's like,
It's the slowest,
Yeah.
like quicksand of corn.
no.
Quick.
I've only got a good 4 hours to figure out what I'm going to do.
It's the slowest drowning ever. Like, yeah.
Well, if you thought the drowning in was at the cell took a long time,
Oh yeah.
would you rather die in the cell or in the grain silo?
I don't know, man. I feel like you'd get crushed from the corn and the grain silo. Like I feel like it would get really constricting.
I don't know. I've been to a few pumpkin patch like setups over the past 10 years. And
Yeah, I've been
the
there
one
with
I've
you a
gone
couple
to-
times.
Yeah, yeah, you did. Yeah, so you've seen the grain silo that's got like a layer of corn in it that you can play with, or the corn like they've set up like the hay like in a big rectangle and put
could
like
jump in
3.5 feet of corn in it, so you
Yeah.
can jump in like it's a pool.
You've heard, you've seen, you know. I do know.
And that corn you will have corn in your shoes, in your hair.
It's just like
You'll be finding dry corn kernels all over your house.
it's like a little kid's wading pool. You know, it's like piss too. Like kids with diapers get in there and piss, and like little 4-year-olds and 3-year-olds get in there and piss.
Well, I didn't thought about it till now.
But now you do.
Well, I'm not getting in it anymore.
90-degree heat on piss-covered corn. Sorry for that.
I didn't need that ASMR visual in my head. Piss-covered corn.
Gross.
Don't.
That which is what I think popcorn smells like, is stale piss anyway, so. Which is weird because our whole thing used to be popcorn as fuck, and I've never really been a popcorn guy. Spoiler alert for anyone who's like, Roger must really like popcorn. I don't. At all.
I would love you to think that someone's out there being like, I bet those guys really enjoy popcorn.
Nope. Sorry to.
I don't mind it. I'm fine with popcorn.
I will occasionally eat popcorn, but it's not like I'm like, you know what I should do?
Yeah, I've never had like the.
Snack on a gallon of popcorn.
I've never had the clouds part and the sunbeam hits me down, and it's like, you know what would really make this day worthwhile? A bowl of popcorn.
Yes. But speaking of that, this is not something we do. This isn't a segment. But our homies who don't know that we're their homies, Junk Food Cinema, they always kind of pair a drink or a snack with
Yeah.
a movie. If you had to pair something with Dark Knight of the Scarecrow,
Yeah.
what are you going to pair? Food-wise.
Pumpkin donuts
I was going to say pumpkin pie. So pumpkin donut is definitely valid.
with warm apple cider.
What if you did like allspice? You know, that's seasoning.
Oh, yeah.
You make flapjacks with allspice because
Okay.
he has, that's not bad. That's very like pumpkin-y. That's very fall.
It is, but if I'm that, it would just make me want to go the very like Midwest like supper type meal. So give me country fried steak with mashed potatoes and green beans.
Oh, okay.
Give me something real like
Hearty.
southern deep fried. Yeah,
Oh. Yeah, the plate needs to be deep fried. So you just,
yeah. Have a bag of hog pops after the fact. Snack on while you're listening to the ball game.
perhaps an old cellar door or a human foot.
You want a human foot?
You want hot sauce on that? That's
It ain't food if you ain't got hot sauce on.
That's a Key and Peele reference, deep cut. That's old school. All right. Well, now that we're done with Perfect Execution, I think it's time to look to our good buddy, Walter Paisley, and take a look at the horror movie survival book and give you one good tip.
There were certain
That reminds me of the Never-Ending Story book.
It is a gigantic book, and it's just filled with knowledge, and I love the noise it makes. Today's survival tip from Walter Paisley is always check the children first before assembling your lynch mob. There you go. There you have it. Make sure the kid is all the way dead before you go exacting revenge, because otherwise it's going to come around and bite you in the ass. And you don't want that.
If they're close, just make them dead. Just finish it off.
Going to smother the kid.
Yes.
Like, this is justified now.
Yeah, just treat it like the cow and me, myself, and Irene. Just put it in a headlock, hold the nose, put 6 slugs in its head, whatever you got to do.
That
It's on its way. Just
I love how
just
it's like,
slip into it.
yeah, I'm going to try and
accept that.
make it the humane. I love it's like, it's the humane thing to do, and then it just gets like worse and worse and worse.
His first impulse after he shot it entirely is to start pistol whipping it.
You know, like you do.
Just what I imagine they would have done to Bubba. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Why won't you die? Yeah, it's Freddy versus
Bubba,
Jason.
Bubba, ow.
He's got the Tardo strength.
Bubba don't understand. Bubba say sorry. Bubba didn't mean it.
Bubba didn't do it.
Bubba says stop.
It's like Simon Says. Yeah, you got to say, Bubba says stop. You can't just say stop, because then they won't stop. A red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. Stop beating.
Mechanic would be the first one out and be like, sit your ass down.
Sidebar, I love when I think this is something that happened on accident. When he's working in the car and he like hits his knuckle. I think that happened on accident and they just kept it in the movie, because that is 100% how every one of us reacts when we're doing something and we like slice or smash a finger. You just throw the tool and you're like, motherfucker. So I think it's real.
Reevaluating everything.
Yeah, I think it's genuine, 100%.
This is probably the town you could probably talk to the postman and be like, can we just swap for a while? Like, I'll deliver the mail and you start fixing the shit up in the shop.
Yeah, you
and
could.
everybody be fine with it.
Yeah, you go work at the grocery store for a while.
I'm delivering mail this week. He's taking it off.
Yeah. And also snooping in your mail and looking at your boudoir magazines, which is a federal offense.
That's trespassing.
Yeah, that's
they
dangerous.
give you the gas chamber.
That's very dangerous. Let's put Jeff Fahey as the...
Jeff Fahey as Bubba.
I'd watch it. Oh, my God.
Still works. I think you could put Larry Drake in the Lawnmower Man, too.
Oh, yeah. Larry Drake as the Ghost in the Machine. That's what we need also.
Oh, I don't know.
But on that note, I suppose it's time to move on to the second to last segment, Evil. So you can take it away.
Well, it's time for the true words of the internet to speak the language of cinema to us with the Amazon 1-star reviews.
Hated it.
I don't believe anybody hates this movie.
When I was looking, there's not a lot of them. There were a few.
Yeah.
And again, with my limitations being actually on camera, I was just like, just give me one that kind of sums up everything that would sound good on a box cover art. Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. Zeal on November 12th, 2022 gave us that tagline. Do not like it at all.
Bubba didn't like it?
Don't like it.
Why does that make me... The way you said that makes me think of Jeffrey Combs in Frighteners. What was it? Whatever he said.
Who was it?
Who was it? That's the line. Who was it? Precisely.
Who was in the bathroom with you? What happened?
Piss on your hush
Capiche? Was it me?
Oh,
Who was it?
who was it? I'm wearing a lead breastplate.
You're doing it right now, aren't you? You're trying to kill me.
That Hitler-ass haircut.
It's not going to work, Bannister.
Sidebar, I fucking love that movie. But
that was my first introduction to Jeffrey Combs.
Frighteners was what, like 95? So
96, yeah.
So that makes sense, especially if you're like because we had to dip our toes back into the 80s movies. You know, certain ones we grew up with, but
I remember the From Beyond poster, but it never was on anything, and not anywhere near me finding it in the wild ever.
not until it got that special
and
edition.
definitely, I
treatment.
don't think that's anything the folks would have been like watching and been like, yeah, go ahead and watch From Beyond.
Oh yeah, Barbara Crampton and all her leather.
Told you to get changed. I did.
Yeah, the leather glory. That might have, which is weird because my mom took me to see Jason Goes to Hell in theaters, but I think From Beyond might have been like, even
From
though
Beyond
she's
feels more
sexy, like right, and she's got clothes on, but you're like, this is
uncomfortable.
yeah, I couldn't like sit and watch this with my mom. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird.
Yeah,
Start
'cause
getting
it's
an
just-
Oedipus.
it's just straight up basic sex for Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
From Beyond is like they're like dipping the toe, play on words, into kinks.
Yeah, leather, and there's a bunch of everything's covered in like KY jelly, and
Like what they allude to in Hellraiser is what they're showing you in From Beyond.
yeah, it's very society-esque.
I am a butthead.
Yes. The shunting lives on. Hashtag shunting forever. But, well, with that 1-star review, I suppose it's time to move on to the very last segment of the show. So, what does that mean, Evil?
I don't have a hat to flip around backwards to go over the top on this one, so I'll just have to wing it with my typical beanie on, but it's time to play the game.
It's time to play the game. The card game.
It's all about the game and how you play it. If you're not playing, why you putting up a scarecrow?
Indeed. Why would you put up a scarecrow? Which makes me go back to the Jeepers Creepers line. That ain't my scarecrow.
Do you think
Tie-in.
Jeepers Creepers was like took notes from this movie?
Victor Salva took notes from everything. Have you seen that Unsolved Mysteries episode that's literally the opening to Jeepers Creepers?
Probably, but I don't know. it off
Yeah,
the top
I
of
know
my
you
head.
have. I'll find it and I'll show it
Probably.
to you after we record this. It's so there's plagiarism, and then there's what Victor Salva did. Like
It's plagiarism if you only steal from one. If you steal from many, then it's it's a collaborative.
This is, I mean, it's. I can't even put into words. I just have to show you so you can go, wow. Every 3 seconds you can go, wow. Okay.
I'd probably have to rewatch the opening of Jeepers Creepers because that's not a franchise I've gotten back around to
You only need the
hardly.
1 and 2 if you're really, really hard up, which I know you don't care a great deal for either of them. So
No, and I watched 2 just because it was at the double feature drive-in with Freddy vs. Jason when
Yeah.
it came out. I was like, I'll sit through it so I can watch the other movie again.
I remember.
2003.
I remember when those guys thought they could beat Freddy vs. Jason in the box office, but that's a whole another story. You can't beat them, but that's right.
We love an underdog story, but that's a massacre.
Yeah, that ain't happening. It is time to play the game. And if you're new here, welcome, but you're probably scratching your head asking yourself, what is the game? Well, the game is a deep cut in and of itself, where you got to pick a prop from the movie that we are covering, but it can't be a well-known prop. So since we're covering Night of the Scarecrow, Dark Night of the Scarecrow, I always want to just leave out
Dark.
because
The Dark
there's
of the Scarecrow?
because there's another movie called Night of the Scarecrow, which is way more campy.
Probably what I'm confusing it always with when I think of the
With
two.
the So What Scarecrow.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, I ain't watching that.
That's a Jeff Burr movie, by the way.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, but either way, since we're covering Dark Night of the Scarecrow, the one thing I'm going to say that's off the limits, the Scarecrow costume. I just feel like,
Nah.
no.
Okay.
No to the burlap mask. No to the jacket, to the gloves, to the pants, to the shirt, whatever. That's just, even though it's not necessarily a massive part of the movie, it's on the damn poster. It's the,
Yeah.
he's the Scarecrow. He's
It's the symbol of the movie.
So can't have that. Pick something weird, pick something odd, off the beaten track, because pretty much everything is. And let us know on the comments on the podcast. Let us know on YouTube comments. Let us know Patreon, Discord, Facebook, wherever you find us.
Email, FedEx, Telex, Telegrams,
Yeah,
holograms.
Fox us if you need to, which is a Robin Hood.
12th Century Fox.
Yeah, Robin Hood Men in Tights reference.
Now, Mickey, get this to the people as fast as you can.
I've got to be getting home alone now. What a strange young man. Yeah, I suppose I'll let you go first.
Well, my first impulse is to be like just 6 degrees of separation from the costume is to want the pitchfork. But again, that's in the poster, so I was like,
ow. Yeah, that's what I picked, to be honest with you.
The pitchfork?
I picked the pitchfork because I felt like it's close enough, but removed enough.
Yeah, it is. But I was like,
I know what you're gonna pick then, since you're not. Go ahead. I'm gonna see if I'm right.
mail truck.
I was gonna say the male hat.
Yeah,
because
it
hat.
looks like a safari hat painted blue.
Oh, dude, it looks like straight up rubber. Like you bought it. It came in like a play school set. I'm the mailman. Yeah,
I've had this mailman hat since I was 9 years old.
Yeah, like it comes with hard plastic envelopes that have like a slit in them. You could put like a piece of paper in or whatever.
I like they give him some shit for being that in the movie. Like, all you good for is licking stamps,
Yeah.
mailman. You're a lowly mailman.
Yeah, lowly government employee. He's gonna flip out like fucking Roger Rabbit in Demon Knight.
But I mean, everybody knows somebody that's that type of person that just takes their regular ass job too goddamn seriously.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you're just a mailman. Just be a mailman.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you're doing tracheotomy work.
Yeah.
In the hospital. You're not doing triage shit. I'm like, just like have some humility and like, yeah, I do mailman shit. Don't let it I do mailman shit. Don't let that mailman shit be your entire character of like, I just drive my mailman truck, wear my mailman hat, and I wear my mailman clothes. And
to
I go
dinner and when I wake up and when,
Yeah,
when I
like-
lynch people, like yeah.
He's like, yeah, going like he's Ernest P. Worrell going through his wardrobe and like mailman suit, mailman suit, sleepy pajamas, mailman suit.
Yeah, switch it up. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Ooh, yellow and black. Switch it up a little bit.
He's also definitely a guy that wears like that like the sleepy cap.
Oh yeah,
to bed.
Like a fucking Christmas hat.
Yes,
but
like
yeah.
like a Scrooge hat
Oh,
with a little mailman like emblem right here on
Oh Jesus Christ! Yeah, with the little eagle. That's him all day, every day.
He's just missing like a catchphrase also, like, I always deliver.
Yeah, the check is in the mail.
Neither rain nor sleet. No, I'm not going out today.
Yeah, nope. Yeah.
I'll take his like World War II era like repainted Jeep mail truck.
He has a lot of like weird. He has a Napoleon. That was almost my pick. Was he has in his room? He has a Napoleon bust, like
Small man complex.
yeah, which works perfectly for him because
He's a little guy.
and he's terrified the whole movie. He hides in his room and he's like pretending he's taking a nap and he's up there drinking because
Oh,
he
yeah.
knows
None of-
justice is coming for him.
None of these guys are good at all at playing it cool that they're covering up a murder. Like as soon as one thing starts going like a little bit askew, they're like, they're gonna find out what we did. They're gonna know.
You dummies, you came right to me.
Yeah, speaking full volume in a house with plenty other people living in it. Like they're gonna find us. They're gonna fry our asses. We did it. We know. They know we did it.
I know we were just in the car in total privacy, but now that we're taking a leisurely stroll in clear earshot of everyone, I will divulge to you the entire plot. Yeah,
Take some tips from Tony Soprano, man. Go down to the basement by the furnace or something.
turn the fucking washer machine on.
Call me from an outside line.
Yeah,
Call my fucking house again.
that's pretty good. Pretty good Soprano. But I suppose on that note, we should probably get going because, after all, there's a lot of movies out there and somebody's got to watch them. So why not us, right?
Word to the wise, Miss Ritter. It's even now. Let it lie.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Cut Podcast. There's a new episode every 2 weeks. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast apps. Don't forget to let us know your topic. There's a new episode, so rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Podcast. There's a new episode every 2 weeks. Oh, yeah. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast apps. Don't forget to let us know your top pick every 2 weeks. There's a new episode, so rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Pod, to the Deep Cut Pod. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast apps. Don't forget to let us know your top pick every 2 weeks. There's a new episode, so rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod. 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 To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod. 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 To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast. Every 2 weeks there's a new episode, so rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod. 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 To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod.